September 17th, 1987. That's my birthday. I was born at Marymount Hospital in Garfield Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. Before I was born, the doctors had told my family I was going to be a girl. That's when they began to shape my sexual identity and gender conformity. From dresses to pink booties, dolls, and other things to fulfill society's expectations of a female. But to their surprise, I was born 11 weeks premature at a little over 2 pounds with a penis. That's right, a penis. Contrary to their expectations, anatomically, I was a male. The entire process to shape my sexual identity and gender conformity started all over. From football jerseys to blue booties, trucks, cars, and other things to fulfill society's expectations of a male. After all, it was my parents' duty to shape my sexual identity, regardless of my own opinion. But what if they had succeeded in shaping my sexual identity in relation to my sexual orientation when they thought that I was going to be a girl? In theory, they were shaping me to be, quote, normal, a heterosexual, attracted to the opposite sex. However, that's when it was assumed I was a different sex. In reality, they were shaping me to be attracted to the same sex, a homosexual. Our emphasis on cultural norms has gone far beyond an expectation of normalcy to empowerment for the majority, subjecting the minorities to oppression. This is true of all of our socio-cultural identities. This is me today. I am the sum of my identities. 22-year-old, white, middle-class, heterosexual male, computer-savvy, athletic, outgoing, and personable individual, just to name a few. Growing up outside of Cleveland, I was surrounded by a very diverse population. In the early years, there was no class, race, gender, or sexual identity. Along the way, we developed stereotypes about subgroups under each identity category that ultimately leads to oppression and racism. Garfield, where I grew up, was between the inner city and the nicer suburbs. We had our own perceptions about their morals, values, and beliefs based on their majority. For example, playing football, we compared the inner city schools' fields that were enclosed in barbed wire and sidelines covered in stone to that of the nicer suburbs with a turf field that required special shoes. We had grass, but no rocks or barbed wire, just your typical football field. The diversity on our field with mediocre resources shaped my identity. Our equity was directly influenced by our diversity. There existed oppression based on cultural norms, a bit of racism influenced by stereotypes, as well as reverse racism. Fortunately for me, I was very accepting of other identities, possibly because of my parents' imposed mixed sexual identity. As a teacher, I would take my ability to accept others into the classroom and help children that are a minority feel like the majority. Today, and in closing, I leave you with this quote: "None of us, as an individual, can save the world as a whole, but each of us must behave as though it were in our power to do so."